Welcome to Educator.com. Today I'll be introducing the topic of polynomials. A polynomial is an expression in which the terms are monomials. If there's only one term, then we just simply call that a monomial. If we have a sum of monomials, or if they're combined by subtraction as well, we call it a polynomial. Recall that a monomial can be comprised of a number, a constant, for example. So just reviewing the definition of monomial first. It could be comprised of constants such as 5. It could contain variables and products of constants and variables, such as 6x, y squared. Remember though that this actually is the product of a constant and a variable, since it really has the constant 1 in front of it. So all these are monomials, and if I have just a single one, such as 6xy squared, then it's a monomial. I can also add these together or combine them by subtraction, and if I sum or combine two monomials, such as 2x plus y, we call that a binomial. A trinomial is the sum of three monomials. For example, 4x squared plus x plus 3, that's a trinomial. Again, I could also use subtraction. So I could have 4xy plus 2x minus 4, and that's also a trinomial. You can also have longer polynomials. There might be 4 or even more terms. We sometimes talk about the degree of a polynomial. If you're talking about a monomial, you find the degree by adding the exponents. So the degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of all the variables. For example, if you were given the monomial 4x cubed y squared z to the fourth, and you were asked to find the degree, you would add the exponents of the variables. So I have 3 plus 2 plus 4, which is 9. The degree for this monomial is 9. Polynomials are handled differently. In a polynomial, the degree of the polynomial is the largest degree of any term of the polynomial. So you don't add up the exponents in this case, you just take the largest degree out of the terms. So, for example, if you had the polynomial 3x to the fifth y squared plus 2x squared y plus x minus 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look and I'm going to say, okay, the largest degree I have, the largest exponent is 5. I have x to the fifth. Therefore, the degree here is going to be 5. So for a monomial, you add the exponents of all of the variables to get the degree. For a polynomial, you just take the largest degree of any term in the polynomial. Okay, ordering polynomials. Polynomials are usually written so that the powers of one particular variable are either increasing or decreasing. So they're in either ascending order or descending order. For example, if I have the polynomial 6x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x plus 2. This is written in decreasing or descending order according to x, because I'm starting out with my x with the largest exponent, the largest degree, which is 3. Then I'm going to 3x squared, then minus 4x, which would be just x to the first, then the constant. I could write it the other way. I could write it in increasing order according to x. In that case, I would start out with just negative 4x. I would then go to 3x squared, and then finally to 6x cubed, still keeping the constant at the end. So it would be standard to write this in either of these forms. Okay. So the first example, is the following a polynomial? If so, is it a trinomial or a binomial? Well, is it a polynomial? Yes. This is a polynomial because it's an expression containing variables, and it has terms that are monomials. Is it a trinomial or a binomial? Well, I have 1, 2, 3 monomials here that are being combined through addition or subtraction. So this is a trinomial. So I have a polynomial, and the specific type is trinomial. Next, I'm asked to find the degree of this polynomial. Remember that the rule for finding the degree of a polynomial is to find the largest exponent for one of the variables. So what is the largest degree of one of the variables? So I look through and I'm checking all my exponents, and I see that the largest one I have here is s to the 4th. Therefore, the degree for this polynomial is 4. Because s to the 4th, that's my variable with the largest exponent. Example 3, I'm asked to write in increasing powers of x this polynomial. So they tell me the variable that they want me to focus on is x, and I'm going to write in increasing powers of x. So I'm going to start with the smallest x term, with the smallest exponent, and then I'm going to increase from there. So the smallest exponent I have for x is 1. So I'm going to begin with this, 12x w to the 4th. And I'm not worrying about these other variables. I'm just focusing on x when I put them in order. The next largest exponent for x is 2. So I'm going to have negative 4x squared y to the 6th. Third, here I have an x to the 4th. So that will be my next largest power of x. And then I have x to the 8th, putting my constant at the end. And I see that I do have this written in increasing powers of x because I'm starting with x to the 1st, then to the 2nd, the 4th, the 8th, and finally my constant. Now I'm going to write this in decreasing powers of z. So I'm focusing only on the z's when I figure out which order to put these different monomials in to write out the polynomial. So decreasing powers of z means I'm going to start out with the largest exponent, the monomial with the largest exponent with z. So looking through, z to the 8th is the largest, so I'm going to put 9u squared z to the 8th first. Then I see that the next one would be z to the 6th. 7w z to the 6th. After that, z to the 4th. So negative 10y squared z to the 4th. After that, I have a z to the 3rd. Finally, 8xz and my constant. So this is written in decreasing powers of z, and I'm just checking that these are exponents are decreasing, and they are, so it's correct. So today on Educator.com, I introduced polynomials and some terms and definitions for polynomials. See you next time on Educator.com.